Developments tonight in a Cleveland Port Authority deal we first told you about. It's a deal that's left behind major health and safety risks. Millions of dollars in bonds that financed the deal are now in default.
5 on your side, Chief Investigator Ron Regan tells us this affects the lives of Cleveland's poor and elderly living there.
Well, it's a real estate deal that was supposed to improve the lives of those living in a high-rise apartment complex. Instead, investors stand to lose millions, and those who live there are being warned it's not safe.
They told me when I moved in that the elevator was going to work. It don't work. You get on that elevator, you might get stuck.
It's a low-income apartment complex.
There's kids in this building.
In East Cleveland.
Old ladies in this building.
We need light bulbs, we need the elevators fixed, we need this door secure.
The Port Authority of Cleveland helped finance the sale of Forest Hills Park, issuing nearly $6 million in bonds that investors bought. It believed it would revitalize it. Now, 2 years later, to what extent do the questions that we've been raising have played a role in this?
I think certainly it's brought it to just raise the awareness of this property.
Cuyahoga housing officials are now warning residents.
We are sending letters to all current residents to inform them of our findings.
Findings based on inspections that grew out of our investigation. Why are you doing that?
For their, not only for their safety, for their quality of life.
Doors without locks, security cameras unplugged, and elevators.
The elevator systems, issues that are common to all residents, seem to have deteriorated.
Residents are now being told they can use taxpayer-subsidized vouchers elsewhere after repeated failures to correct unsafe conditions.
I believe it is 5 instances they've actually taken the contracts to what we refer to as final fail, meaning that the owner had the opportunity to correct conditions. They've not taken advantage of those opportunities, and those contracts are now canceled.
Meanwhile, a leading bond rating agency found the project's strategy and management are both poor, and high vacancy rates lowered expected revenue. As a result, bond payments have not been made. Investors are being left holding the bag, and those who live here face an uncertain future. What's your reaction to all this?
It's profoundly sad.
The Cleveland Tenants Organization says the failed deal raises serious questions about how the multi-million-dollar boondoggle ever got off the ground.
So the fact that we have buildings that have been in such poor condition for such a long time, and transfers are happening, sales are happening, it's a concern.
The Port Authority says only investors, not taxpayers, will lose money on the deal. Meanwhile, the current owners are now working with a bank trustee to determine what happens next, including the option of selling off the building. I'm 5 on your side, Chief Investigator Ron Regan.
And the port also says no tax dollars were used to finance the bond sale.